video tutorial. As the requirement of, we are students of software engineering year 4, Makerere University. As a requirement to graduate, we are supposed to do a tutorial in a course called Professional Ethics of Software Engineers. And we are choosing dilemmas as our point of focus. Ethical dilemmas. We choose ethical dilemmas because we think we extensively understand them. So to go straight to the point, the way I would actually describe ethical dilemmas, and before I describe the ethical dilemmas, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Ainamani. Like I said, I'm a student of software engineering, and I will be the lead discussant today or tonight. My major focus is on ethical dilemmas. What do we understand when we say ethical dilemmas? Ethical dilemmas, it means when one has to take a decision between two or more competing values. And one has to decide, okay, like when one is going to take a decision between something that is personal and professional. And according to Barenbach and Manfred Roy of the Siemens Corporation Research and Technical University of Munich, respectively, they have categorized the dilemmas into 9 categories. But I will make my discussion into a few of the dilemmas, and the rest of my group members will take us through the other ones. I will discuss what red lies is. Red lies as a dilemma occurs during meetings with clients and management when representatives make statements about the product or the project that are known to be untrue, such as stating the project's deliveries in schedule when the team already knows that it cannot deliver it on time. What do I mean? The developing team clearly understands that it sincerely cannot do something, and the project manager who is representing the development team goes to the management to the clients and clearly states that I will deliver this project into a certain time, when they clearly know that the statements they are making are really untrue. We use the color red because it indicates the problem. Because it indicates the problem might happen to the company's bottom line if this behavior becomes pervasive and is ongoing. Then I will go through some other one called cancel advocation. I will not cancel advocation. I will help go through fiction versus vaporware. Fictionware dilemma occurs when an organization and individual promises to deliver a contract with some agreed on features that are infeasible. Being infeasible, it means they cannot be put into practice. So you agree to implement something that will stop at only being an idea, it only remains abstract. And vaporware, it means the product simply does not exist. So mitigating problems with fictionware can be best achieved by coupling merit on bonus payments to after completion project profit, and by giving engineering professionals significant upfront responsibility and authority to influence the bidding or quotation process. Thank you. Okay. My other members.
And as a requirement, I've been tasked to discuss one of the dilemmas called mea culpa. what does mea culpa mean to someone who is developing a project? Okay, it sounds as a dilemma, and indeed it's a dilemma, but how does it occur and where? It occurs when the staff members must deliver a product that still lacks the product functionality, or what we may call the key functionality in that case, or has unknown software defects. All these are known to the developer. And we must say that the market's anticipation can create pressure to release the product prematurely. What does it mean to someone who is going to use the product? There is what we call the risk assessment, and this is worthwhile and might reveal that under certain circumstances, releasing array would be beneficial, but however, this has so many problems with it. In the short run, delivering incomplete software products causes customer satisfaction in the first place, and in the long run, repercussions might include a bad reputation to you as a developer, and of course loss of the market shares increasing, and if the incomplete deliveries happen, often enough the company could not go out of the business. If worst case scenario, a company staff could be exposed to civil or criminal penalties. So that's how mea culpa affects the product, affects the developer, and affects the user in one way or the other. That is what we mean by a dilemma in this case. Thank you so much. This is Justus Ainomugisha. Thank you.
Dilemma, which is mission impossible. So this dilemma occurs when an individual is asked to create or accept the schedule, which is always impossible to meet. So because of the perceived pressure from other people, or for other reasons, the person creates or accepts the project, knowing that it's unrealistic, but then you have to accept it because of the pressure that the person or the developer is always having. So the consequences of this is the lapse in the judgment can range from loss of qualified staff to significant loss of revenue, or overwork of the burnout cause or loss of staff. And then another cause of this is the loss of revenue can also derive from the premature announcement of a product's availability, which then reaches the market price later than anticipated, which is not anticipated. Meanwhile, customers stop buying the current product in anticipation for the new product's arrival. So for this thing of this dilemma, it always derives from the pressure, it always derives from when you're having pressure from the company or from other programmers, you end up accepting to do that work. In reality, you know that you cannot finish up the work in the anticipated time. So that's all I had. Thank you, Mark Nasasa.
God Sam Zanalo. here to discuss for you one of the dilemmas called non-intelligence. So non-intelligence occurs when important documentation, such as requests for contracts, for proposals, requirement documents, and contract for to receive are reaching. So for that, you can easily guess what are the repercussions. Definitely, when these documents don't receive a thorough review, there's going to be a lack of consensus. Maybe at the delivery, at the point of delivery, there's going to be lack of consensus between the developers and the clients. So, this is a very critical dilemma, and I think all the developers, what stakeholders in the software engineering process should take care note of it and see how to deal with it accordingly. Thank you very much. You can also have my name.
Hello, I'm called Kumarisige Sudan. I'm talking about the dilemma of rush job. Yeah. This is why you find occasions where a developer is meant to deliver a product that is of low quality because of pressure to finish on time. So they trade off their quality for time to implement the product and finish. So they end up delivering a product that is of good quality. So I think this one compromises with the principles of software development. Hence, a company can lose its name, which is not really good, which should not be a part of software development. It is a bit related to Miracle, except that for it has the software has all the functionality, but it is of very low quality. And in Miracle, there is important functionality lacking. So they are a little related, but very different. It is very important for software developers to mind about quality, because a company can use a name through that, through developing things that are of very low quality. I think that's all about rush job. Thanks very much.
Yeah, Muwonge Bright.H, and I'm discussing cancelled vacation. This involves like a person being on work for some given time, and along the process it gets a period to go for leave or like rest. And in such a period, the program director can decide to bring up a new project to run in order to finish it at the shortest time possible. And this necessitates one to put hold all their activities. So, and this, in most cases, it may interfere with it with one's programs. For example, in case they had a trip with their family or a distant place, or pick up some other things to do during that period of time. This dilemma can make the worker to become more light in such a way that they may lose their focus at work and their morale, because they may come back to work with divided minds, and the work they may be able to do may not be efficient in the long run, and they may deliver a product which is not functional at all. And in the end, it would affect the whole good program in the long run. Basically, it can also reduce the company's efforts in getting good employees in the long run, because in case one comes back from a vacation which they are meant to have and they need to have it, and they end up being sent away from the job, they may spread the rumor about the program and the company, and in the long run, other employees may not be able to come to such a workplace. Yeah, basically that's it. Thank you very much.
Good evening. I'm called Ainamani Joseph. I'm going to take you through Sweep It and Run, which is also one of the ethical dilemmas of software development. Under Sweep It under the rug, this is where this syndrome occurs when unforeseen issues arise in the company that could potentially damage a project or a company, but to keep things running smoothly, developers ignore the issues in the fertile hope they will vanish. For example, a tester uncovers a flaw in a communication system and calls it to the attention of his supervisors. They determine that while the flaw is real, the odds of the impacting the delivered product are relatively small. And besides, once the customer starts using it, the responsible parties will have moved to another project. Sweep it under the rug differs from not my problem in that it deals with mishandling or ignoring infrequently occurring unique problems. Whereas not my problem occurs when developers fail to address a systematic infrastructure or process problems. Thanks very much. Once again called Ainamani Joseph.
And that was group number 15. When we talk about ethics, we specifically talk about how people live, and the way they think life should be lived. I will lastly talk about not my problem because I intentionally left it to finish it when I was ending. Occasionally, the team or staff always concern themselves with daily activities and forget about the productivity or forget about the quality and the productivity. And when the software is ready to be produced, they find themselves not having finished the project and not doing some of the activities. What they do is they shift the blame and start blaming that this one should have been done by this other one, and they tend to neglect the problem than owning it. Wow, that was ethical dilemmas presented by group number 15. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode. My fellow groupmates have been discussing the technicalities, and I'm now going to call them upon to discuss in reality what they were trying to mean, how these dilemmas affect us differently. Firstly, I will start with Justus Ainomugisha, who discussed mea culpa, just to shed more light and show the person who does not understand the technicalities of software engineering what he actually meant. Or even if he does, let him shed more light on how these things affect our new projects. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to give more light to one of the dilemmas that I discussed, and this is mea culpa. We have heard that it occurs when the staff members must deliver a product that lacks the key functionality, which makes it a dilemma. If I can give an example to get the whole point, I can give an example of mobile money of recent, whereby they wanted to add in a good functionality, but it wasn't able to meet the deadline. It was meant for 2 days, but it had to exceed, which makes it a dilemma to the users and even the developers of that system. I think that is the light I can give about the mea culpa. to the developers, the users, and other stakeholders of the product.
Wow. Yeah. By mere functionality here we mean that the system does not do some of the things that were specified or it is meant to do. So Hosea, Muwonge Bright Hosea, I'm going to request you to shed more light on council vacation.
Alright. As everyone stated, I discussed cancelled vacation. To shed more light, I can just try to explain it further. Basically, think of a farm where people have been given a project to come up with, like, of late, there is a group called Guys Developing Jabuza Sun application which tries to coordinate events management. But of late, some of their developers were kindly given a leave but called back due to some issues with their mobile app they are developing. It wasn't actually showing the actual events providers. It could show like 5 instead of showing like a whole list of 100 of them. So those guys were called back to rectify that issue, and many of them apparently right now are grumbling into it. They're trying to grumble to the department head that it's not really a good idea for them to always keep coming back, yet they don't leave. But they are trying to solve it in such a way that they kind of stone job, but they don't work full day. They just work like half day and then they go back and rest.
Thank you, Mr. Hosea. Cancelled vacation might also result into people leaving because when you cancel someone's vacation, you demoralize them, so they get less attached to their work they're doing. Mr. Mark Nasasra talked about Mission Impossible, so please shed more light.
Yeah, like now Mission Impossible, like the word suggests, this is like something that cannot be possible within a specific time. So like, for example, there's some software company called M&J Software Rights. Actually, it's a new company. So they are tasked by an Indian firm to like make an application for a supermarket. Because they are under pressure and they wanted to have market, so they had to start the application straight from scratch, and the supermarket wanted the application done within like a week. So due to the pressure they had, they could not even finish it within a week. So that's like mission. They accepted the task, but then in reality they knew they could not do it because they were given like in the contract the time was so short for them to finish up the application. So that's it, like for a Mission Impossible, accepting something that you know that it's unrealistic, that you cannot finish within like some specific like the agreed time with the programmers and then the client. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Mark. Like I said, Mission Impossible. We don't know why people do the things they do, but someone gets to understand that he cannot finish a project, but goes ahead and accepts it. I mean, it's a dilemma. A decision has to be taken between something personal and professional. Susan talked about the rush job. Please help us shed more light.
Yeah, I think if I could consider mobile money has been, to me it has been of low quality, because you find like you want to send money to someone and you do not know who you're sending the money to, like you do not prove. So in case you send to a wrong number, it still goes, like the money goes without. That is how it was formerly. Except that for now they've, I think, modified it so you can know the person you're sending to. That is, I think, an example of rush job, because formerly if you're developing a software and you do not put in all those, they may call them quality attributes, then it will not be of good quality. And for rush job, you develop a software that is of low quality, like it does not do as it should be required as a quality software. So I think that is a good example of rush job, mobile money. Yeah, basically that's it all. Developing a software of low quality. That's the example I give. Thank you.
Thank you. On the rush job, someone wants to, people are in a rush to do something, but in the end they produce, yes, the software will be working, but it will be of low quality or should they work. Mr. Joseph Nyamuhachi, you discussed sweep it under the rug as a dilemma. What do you mean, please?
Under sweep it under the rug dilemma, this is when unforeseen issues that can potentially damage the product and more company arise. But to keep things running smoothly, the developers tend to ignore the issues. For example, you can develop a software to somebody or some company, but the unforeseen issues, the problem, the faults there, you ignore the faults and you deliver that product to the company. Yeah, that's it about sweeping under the rug.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. What is surprising is, even when these faults are presented to the developing team will tend to organize to neglect them, thinking that they will disappear, not knowing that they might cause a problem in the near future. So they tend to hide them. So, Sam, tell us more about what non-diligence is.
Okay, as previously said, non-diligence is about documentation. Documentation in software engineering is one of the most key aspects. So, the whole process is composed of different documents, ranging from negotiating a contract, proposal, requirement specification document, design documents, and many others. All those documents are written by different people and are supposed to be reviewed by different people also. But then, that diligence at the end comes not because those documents are not there. No. The parties are supposed to do right, but then those that are supposed to review, they don't. For example, a developer may write the requirement specification documents. The requirement specification is supposed to be read by different parties like customers, maybe if the project managers, but like you write a specification document to the clients, but the clients don't read some of the key requirements there. So the problem will arise at the delivery stage. When the point of delivery comes in, the client is going to say, requirement A is not there. Some functionality is not missing. When actually, when you are setting the requirements, you didn't write it there. But because they hadn't reviewed it, issues arise. So there are very many issues that are like it arise because of dating, of documentation, and I think at every stage, software engineering documentation should be taken as a very big aspect. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Any of you members who didn't understand what all of you members have been discussing, this is the time to raise your questions.
Maybe I have something I have to answer about Mission Impossible. So Mission Impossible, that's what one of the first plans to discuss as Mission Impossible, because it cut it very well and really highlighted as what it means. So, however, most people may see Mission Impossible on the aspect of time, but it may not only be concerning time. The nature of specification itself may be impossible, or the need to be addressed may be unrealistic. Someone says, I want a software that does something that can't happen in the real life. For example, one may say you may be needing an application that runs on a desktop, on a mobile, a web-based application, a embedded application, but that thing is infeasible in real life because the application should target a specific level, or the scope itself may be very big, or the application is out of context. So the nature of the work itself, regardless of the time, even if they give you 100 years, you never develop it. So that's very critical thing, critical moment. Because a developer has first thing, can I take this? Can I manage to do it? And then he needs the money, but still the work is not feasible. So that's where the dilemma comes in. You have to agree to do the job when actually it's impossible. It's impossible to do the job.
And also, you can say like dilemmas are brought by pressure and other factors relating to making the project or software produced within the time that's not specified when developing it. That's
Mine, having seen what dilemmas are and having discussed extensively, members, do you think there could be some solutions to these dilemmas so as to reduce on the unreliability of the product, the poor quality of the product, and others? Do you think there are some solutions for that?
Solutions to the data.
To these dilemmas?
Yeah, it is indeed true the solutions are there. Wow, it's true, software engineering is a new field and the problems that arise may not be actually known to us. They might be unethical, but sometimes don't get to understand the ethics. I feel these things should be developed, well discussed, and the standards or the agreed ethics should be well documented and presented to the developers such that errors like these that might be of great concern should not be recurring or coming to the effect of our customers and the businesses trying to reach these software products survive.
To me, I think solving all these dilemmas needs every developer should be a professional engineer. That is what I think basically, because if you're not a professional engineer, then there are very many things you may not be knowing about software engineering. For example, if we are talking about quality and you've not documented, of course your software cannot be like someone who has a document to refer to. So there is no you can say your software will be of quality like the other person who can refer to a document and then improve on the quality. I think every developer should be a professional. That is what I think.
another solution I can suggest is like developers should not mind about pressure to produce or deliver the product, should mind about quality of the product or software. Yeah.
And another thing I think, another solution is like the mutual agreement between the developer and the client. Once you bring like your application and you want the developer to develop like an application, then you should have like you should reach like the mutual agreement. The developer should tell you that you know what, I can develop this program with an application like within like 2 months or like a week, instead of like a client pressurizing him or her like, you know what, I need my application within this specified time there. I think that can also bring about like lack of quality of the application.
Yes. I'm going to be more specific and see a dilemma and not how I think personally it to be solved. I'll start with Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible, we say that it's whereby a developer is presented with specifications which he can't meet personally. I think before accepting any work, you first can I do it? Find that you can't, leave the work. Someone else who can. Then for that job we say that we can make specification already agreed, but then within the development stage you run short of schedule. So you want speeds within time. At the end of it all, read the product that is the poor quality that is showing. I think some of this is in the case you find that you cannot meet the deadline, instead of sacrificing the quality of the product, instead you add on the time. Sweep it under the rug. We say that it is they see the problem like later in the development stages, late development stages of the software, and then they say to ignore it. I think this one can also be sort of, it's like the same solution can apply to rush job. So in both cases, just within the deadline. Because the quality matters. The software engineering, I think quality is more important than anything. Because then the agency, the solution is obvious. Right? Who is supposed to review the document, that thing will read it. Yeah, I think those are how I can explain. Maybe there's someone who has like another solution.
Yeah, thank you, Sam. Bright, would you maybe be having a solution to one of these dilemmas, so as we can brainstorm the idea of dilemmas?
People being straightforward and repeating about the push. Let me say this. I know, for example, someone taking up a project and they actually know they can't finish it in a given time. They just be outright and straightforward and tell the person, I'm doing this but for this and such a given period of time. So someone contracting you should know how far you can go. In case something arises and you are like caught up, you should be held responsible instead of saying, now I try to do this and this. Yet at the start, you actually put onto like a consensus with the client. Say like, I'm going to do this from this up to this time, and at a given period of time, I'll give you such and such a type of the project. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it all takes manners even, because if you're a liar, then it's hard for you to be a professional unless you've undergone much training about it, because some people are just naturally liars, so they cannot be ethical in any case. So however much you know you won't finish that project, you still go ahead and say, I will finish it, which is, it takes manners, I think, sometimes.
Will there be any solution? Maybe to summarize the solutions to these dilemmas, I think all the solutions are rotating around professionalism and some mutual agreement between the parties. And professionalism here, you're comparing a profession and the personal ethics. So to someone who is a developer should be professionally trained. And to the user or to the owner of the project, he should be able to employ someone who is professionally qualified. That's how we are going to solve the dilemmas of the software development. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think that was well elaborated. Like my fellow groupmate said, let's preserve the ethics, let's protect our profession as software engineers, and let's do things differently from those who develop and but have not been to higher institutions of learning. Yes, now that I'm going to get them involved. But to get them on board, we have to show a difference. Thank you for watching.
Welcome.